Hi, I'm Jerry Ford with Attic Treasures and Sew Easy Sewing in Occoquan, Virginia, and I'm here to talk to you about the Designer's Gallery brand new creator software. It's for digitizing and it is wonderful. What I like about it, it has simplified buttons. It's affordable. You can start using it at level 1 at as little as $239. And our most expensive one is like $9.99, which is level 3. That includes the Embroidery Works everyday software. This is also designed to work in conjunction with your Embroidery Works software if you already own it. What I like about this is that it is affordable and it's very simple to use and it does everything in real time. What it is not auto-digitizing software, but what it does is that it has some very simplified, easy to use magic wands and very easy to use drawing tools. You'll find it a lot easier to use. Okay, it also is not editing software. So if you have pre-existing designs that you want to change, you're still going to need to use your Embroidery Works everyday software in order to do that. Now when you do go to install it, you want to make sure that you install your Embroidery Works first if you have it. Then you will load your Designer's Gallery Creator. If you've used Embroidery Works before, you used to have an icon over here that would say Embroidery Works. Well, it's going to disappear. In fact, the first time I loaded it, I couldn't find it and panicked. So what happens is this new icon right here is like the old green one that we used to have like 10 years ago with the original Designer's Gallery cataloging software. So I'm going to double click on that to open it up. But that's going to open up everything. Now when it opens up, it's going to open up using, if you have Embroidery Works, it's going to open up to Embroidery Works, and I have all the tools and functions and buttons of my Embroidery Works. This is the new icon right here. That is your creator. Okay, now this is the level 1 right here, and we're going to go into that pretty much in depth. So anyway, you have more simplified buttons. You don't have a whole lot of buttons that you have to deal with. You have image buttons, you have drawing buttons, and you have your stitches. You also have your object folder over here as well as the properties box down here. You also have your preferences where you can set your hoop sizes and everything you did before. So I'm going to open up an image. Okay, and I'm going to select this flower. This is from my old Masterworks. It's a JPEG file. It'll read JPEG and bitmap files. So, and I'm going to select it over here, and I'm going to make it a little darker so we can see what we're doing. Okay, and so now this here also will add true type fonts. So I can click on that, and I just click anywhere on the screen. It's going to bring up here all of the fonts that I have resident in my computer. Lots and lots of fonts, and there's lots of fonts available. Now what this is not is lettering software. It does not have lettering software inherently unless you have Embroidery Works Everyday. It will pull the lettering from that, but even if you don't have Embroidery Works Everyday, you can use your true type fonts to create lettering. So I'll just hit OK, and I'll just type something in, and I'll just type in flowers. Spell flowers right. Okay. And I'm just going to move it down and do. There, I want the hand. I'll just scoot this down here. So it says flowers. And I want to make it a little bigger. You know, if you hit your shift key while you're see, you can make it bigger by taking this corner box and making it bigger and smaller, or you can take your shift key, it makes it bigger and smaller in all directions. Okay, that'll work. Okay, now this one here turns my background on or off. This one turns my stitches on or off. That doesn't make sense right now. Okay, now here's my drawing tools. So we go to a new page for my drawing tools. So I can just click point to point. Now I can close my shape. Okay, when I click off, it has picked that color, but I don't, it just happens to have picked that color. But I can change the color here by just clicking on the color and change it. Okay. Next time I draw, it's going to remember that I used red last time too. Okay, and so now when I click on my points, say I didn't like the way I drew that, I can move one point. I can add a point in between by double clicking. See, it adds another point. Okay, and say if I wanted to bring all of these in, I just go around it, and notice now I can move both of these at the same time. Okay, now this one here is you can draw using freestyle. Those are just my drawing tools. There. See, remember the color. I didn't do anything else to it. Okay, this closes a shape. Now this one, let's go back to the other one. This one is going to be my magic wand. So I'm going to pick drawing tools, and I want my magic wand. And I can set my sensitivity, and I can also have it look for holes. Let's make this a little bigger, just so we can see what we're doing. Okay, let's just say I do this one. Note it picked green. Note, and then this will be white, white, white. Okay. Set those up all as just artwork. Notice over here that this is highlighted because I'm telling it that I just want the artwork. I want a non-sewing line right now. This allows me to fix the curves. See, now I have this one. This allows me to set those. If they're already curves, it'll change the Bezier. Come down so we can see it a little bit. And see how I didn't like this one? Okay, something's wrong with this one. This one looks funny. If I want to double click, put a line in. I want to fix that. Line in here. And now I can fix that handle here. I want to fix this handle. Now, that one's rounded there, and I'm going to right click there, and I'm going to change that to a cusp, because now that allows me to make one side flat. So now I've got this all pretty like I like it. Okay, this one is going to set a hole. We'll go into that later. Now, those are all my drawing tools. So this is all nothing but drawing right now. Of course, the words are too. They're drawn in there. And notice it does each letter differently, which is nice. It's not all one piece. It's 7 different letters. So I could make each one of these letters a different color if I wanted to. And say that one I want to be, say, red. Pick a red. And see, it's changed the colors of the letters. Okay, I'm going to come back over here to this one. Now we're going to start setting some of these shapes. We're going to put in some of the stitching now. Okay, now these are my stitching. This one we had it originally. That one's highlighted, so everything here is a non-stitching line. So let's just say I want to set that as a fill stitch. So I have running stitches, satin stitches, applique stitches, motif run, cross stitches, fill stitches. This is manually placed stitches, and I'm not real sure how to use that just yet. Okay, and then we've got satin column, stipples, motif fills, and my favorite, freestanding. I love the freestanding. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to set this one as a fill, and notice I have all the information right here. I have my start and stop already. I don't have to go to another button to find that. So I can set my start and stop. I can set my inclinations of my stitches already. Okay, and see, notice the changes are instantaneously. As I change the angle, notice the angle of my stitches changes immediately. Okay. I have run stitches. Let's do a little bit about the run stitches. Let's go ahead over here. Now I've turned that into a run stitch. I just want to click off. So you can see I've got the 3D turned on. With this color it's hard to see it. But I have the run stitch. I can now change this to a double, a bean, a chain, which I love chain stitch. The chain stitch is awesome. And I can change this to a back stitch or a stem stitch. Stem stitch is fun because you can also change the length and the width of it and the angle of its stitching, so that I can make it really wide and going in the other direction if I like. I'm just going to go back and put that back to a, I'm going to put it back as a satin stitch, back into a regular fill stitch. Okay, I could also change it into a border stitch, and borders I have a lot of different options here as well. I can change the width, I can change the density, I can make it a split. So let's just say I made this really wide, that's not going to look pretty, but and I want it back here to the split, and I want 2 columns. So I'm going to tell it I want 2 columns. And look how it looks. Get that out. See, now it's turned into a 2-column satin stitch, which you could only do, you couldn't even do that with Masterworks before. But I really like that. Okay, let's see, go back to the satin border. These borders, I also have the ability to change my underlayment and make this into a freestanding lace piece. I will do a separate video on how to turn something into a freestanding lace, and we're going to do a freestanding lace ornament as well as a Christmas card on cardstock. So I will do that. You'll see 2 more videos. Okay. I could also change it to an applique and put in the fabric and the position and the material and set up my appliques. We will cover this in detail in the classes. Remember, the classes start next month, right after or soon after club, the same days as club. Level 1 will be the next club date on both the Saturday and the Tuesday, and I will also record that those classes as well, and we will go into this more in depth. Okay. All right. Now this, I'm going to change that into an applique. An applique, let me just change this color because we sure can't see this anymore. This color, I want it to be darker. Let's do a little darker here. Okay. Yeah, you can see that a little better. Okay, now we have a choice of it being an E stitch, and I can change the width and the length of the stitch, put in a fabric preview if I wanted to. And also I could change it into a blanket stitch, and again set the length and the width of those, or a satin stitch and a zigzag, or none at all. I could set it as an applique with no border stitching at all. It'll just do the first two steps of the applique. Next we have is motif fill, and nothing shows immediately, so I'm going to add a motif. And I'll just pick, you have different types of motifs. You've got whole bunches of them. So you have your cross stitches, decorative stitches, knots, larger stitches, satin-ish stitches, and squared. Let's just pick a cross, I don't want cross stitch. I want the knots. Okay, let's just say I want it to be a candle, this candle wick. See, it sets the candle wick stitch up. So, and I can actually add 2 different things. Let's just add that knot. Okay, and see, now it alternates, so you can set up your own customizable decorative stitches on this thing. It's awesome. Now okay, now I've created the circle, and I want to do a cross stitch. I can tell it how many stitches per inch I want this. See, I'm doing 20 little tiny stitches. Okay, I can also tell it how many. Do I do single, double, triple threads? Okay, now this is my normal fill. So here, I'll change that now to a normal fill. And again, I have patterns. So I want it to be a snake there. I can change it into patterns. Say we pick this one. Let me go ahead and select that. Okay, and now this one's going to, it's like my auto column. There, it's set up, and I'll change that color. No, can't see it. There's a darker green. Okay, see, now that already set up my auto column. So that's now pretty and ready to stitch when it's on auto column. I can feather it. I can set columns if I want it to be 2 columns or split the columns. I don't want it to do that. I can feather it, so I can set the feathering. Okay, I want more feathering than that. Can't see it. Okay, it's hard to see unless I go close up. See, there's feathering on one side. Rather interesting. Okay, I'm going to go back to, let's go to another page so I can show this stippling and the motif fill. So I'm going to go to another page. Now another thing we have here is we have these shapes. These are actually, that is on all of the versions, but I'm just going to pick heart. If you selected, these are the ones, the first few of these are from the Designer's Gallery Embroidery Works. So you have a lot of shapes that came with Embroidery Works. These, now I have outlines. That is new, and it's only if you have Creator. So I'm going to pick a heart, and I just want a normal heart. Okay, and I'm going to make it a little bigger, so I'm going to hit my Shift key and make this big. Let's just say I want to turn this into a stippling. Isn't that awesome? You have different kinds of stippling. I can set my spacing. So if I want it further apart, that sets it further apart or closer together. And then I can also change to a different, have a whole different look of it. Leafy, geometric, beautiful. Okay. Then I like this one here, which is that one turns it into a motif fill. And notice you see nothing because I haven't picked one yet. So I'm going to have the same categories as we had before. And I'm just going to pick that. Ooh, that looks terrible. Well, heck, I'm not going to take too much time. There we go. That'll show you. And I'm going to change my height. Now you can see it better. I can also add another shape. See, now it alternates it. So I've got different motif fills that I can use. Now I'm going to go undo, undo, undo. I want to turn this into freestanding lace. I now have the ability to do that. I can I can tell it whether I want to do freestanding double lace or just a single. What the difference is in the stitching. I'll show you what the stitching looks like. Here's the single. So it stitches and it does the grid one time. Okay, I'm going to come back and I want to change this to, I'm going to make this bigger, stitch length. Oh, less density. I want a lot less density there. Okay. Go back to. Okay, I'm changing the density. I'm putting it, I can change it also to a diamond shape. Okay, now, here was the single. I'll do the, here's the single. So a single pass means it goes through that grid one time. Okay, now if I change this to freestanding, which now puts this, it's going to do it doubly. And then when I go to stitch it, it's going to go through it twice. It goes once, up and down, then it goes again. That locks in your stitches to create freestanding lace. And I've got another video on how we created the ornament, the freestanding lace ornament, as well as the cardstock tree using this freestanding feature, and I've got that as a separate video, so you might want to take a look at that. Okay, back to this, and so that concludes level 1. So level 2 has added a few more buttons. So notice now that you have added a vector button here. So now not only will it read bitmap as well as JPEGs, it'll read most of the popular vector images that you can get with your Photoshop and some of your drawing tools. Okay. I wanted to talk to you about the TrueType fonts that we have in this level 1. Is like I said, you've got your letters here, and you can also turn any of these. These could be a run stitch, just like you had before, and I'm going to turn all of these to say a column fill. Okay, come on, column fill them all. There we go, just took a little while. And so now you've got lettering. You can also use your lettering from your embroidery works as well. So, okay, I'm going to move it. I'm just going to leave it as ABC, and there you can see that you've got your lettering from your letterworks already. Or you can use the letters from the TrueType fonts. Okay, level 2, you notice we have a few more buttons. You have a vector button here, which now it will read vector images as well as the bitmap and the JPEG, but it'll read any of the vectors that are created by Photoshop or any of that software that you have. Okay, you have a new button here which is for sequencing. So like say you do this little flower and then you do this little flower, but you don't want it to sew that way. We used to have to well, it's just like with the flowers, like these words flowers, it stitched this out first. I want to sequence. I want to sequence this one. I want to do this one, this one. I'm not sure why, but as I pick them, notice they're moving. There's really no reason I want to do that, but you know, if I want to stitch, I can tell it what order at a drop of a hat. It's easy to do. Just a few clicks and I've changed the stitching order. Instead of clicking and dragging these up and down, like we used to have to do. Okay, the next one is this little button right here, and this one, if you it's used to preview how your items will connect when embroidered in a continuous hoop or as a repeated pattern. We will talk about that in a further class. I'm not exactly sure how that works just yet. This one right here is the Bezier input. In other words, if you like to draw using Bezier curves, you can still do so. This right here, draw a column with a left or right alternating point. That's nice if you were an old palette user and this is how you used to like to draw. Remember, that's how we had to manual punch it before? Well, you still got it. You still have the ability to use that. This one allows you to add your inclinations to control the stitch direction. So now see, if I wanted to add an inclination, I could. That's all that is. Okay, and notice your changes are made immediately. Like right now I have this on feather. Don't want it to feather. I'm going to turn that off. And notice no more feathering. Okay. The next one here allows you to draw the same thing like this. If you want to do a pattern, you just draw your curve. Hit my enter key, draw the other side of the curve. There, and it's a column. right click, and it's finished. Then you put in your inclinations. All done. No, I didn't put it. Okay, I needed some more, but you get the idea. Okay, now this little button is added because now you can draw a line. You can have a line right here and turn it into now French knots. You can do either French knots or candle wicking. So you have a choice of a red candle wicking or a French knot. You can change the size of these knots. So like I'm gonna make them bigger and this one bigger. See, yeah, those are just as supposedly true French knots. Then the neatest one of all, where is this shape? Okay, I'm gonna now this one is it is called a contour stitch, and you can either echo on the inside of it. Select it and echo. So it'll set an echo stitch on the inside, or you can set it on the outside, and you can tell it how many steps it needs to take. It's fabulous for echo quilting. Okay. Level 3 adds some more buttons, and these I really have not investigated at all. I'm just going to tell you what they do. This button right here is the magic wand that's used to create outlines. In other words, just a line stitch. It's not going to do a fill stitch, just the lines. This one right here, it's hard to see, it's yellow. It'll generate additional texture on satin columns and fills. Then we have some more path. Now you've got a whole new set of path buttons. These are convenience buttons when you're modifying your artwork. So this one here allows you to draw a line that we'll use to split your artwork. Again, we'll have more information about that later. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use some of these splitting tools. So you've got this new tool here. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and pick a shape and just bring in a simple shape. Circle. Okay, I'm going to use this one to split my artwork. So I'm going to start and stop and right click to end it. Then I'm going to click this, which is going to cut it at the break line. And notice it has cut it into 2 different shapes. See, now I can move this one. See, now it's split it into 2 different shapes. Awesome. I like that. Okay, this next button is going to it creates a shape from the overlapped areas of artwork. So let's just put this one over here. Okay, and I'm going to create one shape. Oh, I'll select both. There we go. It's created a third piece. See, that combines the 2. Okay. This one here is going to subtract, so it adds another one. Oh. Okay, now I've created those 2 half circles. Let's see what this button does. Oh, let me undo. I want to select both of these. Okay, and what it does is it took the first design that I had, but the one and where the other one overlapped, it took it away from it. Okay, the next one creates an outline from stitch objects on the design page. Okay, we already talked about that one. This one is going to combine overlapped areas into a single area. Oh, okay, let me undo. Okay, and all of these, and let's see what that does. Okay, this also it almost looks like it did the same thing as that one. This one took the outer lines. This one virtually did the same as that one. So what it does, says it combines overlapped areas into a single area. Okay. Okay, it looks like the other one says this operation creates a shape from overlapped areas of artwork. Okay, and then this one flattens all objects, removing the overlap. Okay, it removed the overlap. That's interesting how that removed the overlap. And then this one inflates or deflates. So if I take this one and I want to inflate it, and I tell it how big I want it to do an outline. Oh, that's neat. That's if you want to create applique shapes. So you could do turned applique, and that way you could send that to your scan and cut or your silhouette in order to cut out the fabric for you. So that, my folks, is Designer's Gallery Creator in a nutshell. It's rather quick. We're going to have more videos coming. As I learn, you will learn. So if you have any questions, give us a call at Attic Treasures and Sew Easy Sewing in Occoquan, Virginia. Our phone number is 703-490-1536, or you can email me at waltzquilt@yahoo.com. See you again next month. Bye.